Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled. This week, we're diving into a topic that feels less like science fiction, honestly, and more like something happening right outside our windows.
It really does.
I mean, just in the past 7 days, the world of robotics, the whole realm of humanoids, it's seen this unprecedented surge, breakthroughs, actual deployments. It's been quite a week.
It truly has. So our mission today really is to unpack the most significant developments just from this past week. We want to pinpoint where the research and the industry seem to be finding strong consensus.
Right.
The goal is to give you a clear, concise understanding of how these mechanical marvels are moving so quickly from the lab into our lives. It's really reshaping how we see what's possible.
Absolutely. And we're going to explore the strategic importance, the really groundbreaking technologies, and what it all means for the near future. Because this period, specifically August 6th to 12th, 2025, it's genuinely felt like a turning point. Like it's fundamentally reshaping the global tech landscape.
A watershed moment, you could say.
Exactly. And when we talk about the rise of the machines here on Tomorrow Unveiled, we're definitely not talking about some, malevolent AI taking over. Not that kind of story.
No, not at all.
Instead, it's about this powerful convergence of increasingly sophisticated hardware, really advanced embodied AI, and some incredibly ambitious commercialization efforts. And it's all centering on that humanoid form factor. It's a fascinating story, and it's happening like right now.
And right at the heart of so much of this activity was the 2025 World Robot Conference, the WRC, held in Beijing. Now, this event, according to our dedicated research team, didn't just break records, it completely shattered them.
Shattered them? How so?
But we saw over 1,500 exhibits, more than 200 companies from all over the world, including, get this, an astounding 50 humanoid robot manufacturers. 50.
Wow, 50, that's a lot.
It is. And this wasn't just, your typical tech conference. It felt much more like a carefully orchestrated display of national ambition, really showing how serious they are about leading this revolution.
Okay, that's a crucial distinction. Carefully orchestrated display of national ambition. What does that actually look like on the ground? Are we talking specific government initiatives, massive state funding, or something else? What makes it different?
It's a combination, really. Our research team notes that China is definitely leading a significant industrial revolution, specifically in humanoid robotics. They're actively challenging, the traditional dominance we've seen elsewhere in AI and robotics.
It's strategic.
Highly strategic. This isn't just about fostering innovation for its own sake. It's about technological statecraft. It's about economic power. The sheer scale of the WRC, you combine that with the explicit government support, the incentives for domestic robot development, it paints a very clear picture.
They're not just playing, they're aiming to win.
Exactly. They're not just participating, they're really aiming to redefine the global robotics landscape.
And the numbers seem to back that up, don't they? Our research indicates the Chinese humanoid robot market is projected to just skyrocket from, just over $2 billion in 2024 to an astonishing $41 billion by 2032. That's a 44% compound annual growth rate. That's huge.
It's staggering. It signifies a massive strategic bet on the humanoid form. It signals their intent to capture a really significant portion of this burgeoning market.
It's an incredibly aggressive growth target. It shows a clear long-term vision, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, speaking of groundbreaking, let's dive into some of the new humanoid capabilities we saw unveiled this week. Engine AI, a Chinese firm, they really showed a dual approach that our research team found pretty impressive.
Yes, they did.
First, they debuted the T800. This thing is a heavy-duty industrial-grade robot, stands 1.85 meters tall, weighs 85 kilograms. It's clearly built for, robust performance in demanding industrial environments. Seems like it's setting a new benchmark for strength.
It does. And then, in this really striking contrast to that industrial powerhouse, Engine AI also showed off the PM01. Now, this model is all about agility, dynamic performance. It's capable of high-speed running and, maybe most crucially, autonomous fall recovery.
Fall recovery. That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is that Engine AI is positioning the PM01 as an open-source platform. They even have plans for a lightweight, more accessible SA's02 model priced around $5,300.
Wow, $5,300. That's surprisingly accessible.
It is. It's a very strategic move, potentially to democratize access to this advanced humanoid tech.
Yeah.
It could spark a whole wave of innovation from developers globally if they make it truly open.
That's a massive leap forward, especially that fall recovery part. Then we had Unitree. Now, they're already known for their dynamic quadrupeds, the dog-like
I think the
robots.
ones that do backflips.
Right. Well, they showcased their G1 humanoids in these like spectacular robot boxing matches.
Yeah, that got a lot of attention.
It looked amazing, but it wasn't just entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Though it was definitely thrilling watching robots punch and kick and then somehow get back up after being knocked down. Our research confirms this is actually invaluable real-world data collection.
Exactly. It's about refining control policies under stress. They're essentially learning through reinforcement learning. Rewarded for the right moves, penalized for the wrong ones. Think of it like, well, a child learning to walk, maybe. Every punch, every fall, every successful recovery, it's all data.
And this is crucial for closing that sim-to-real gap, isn't it?
Precisely. That notorious challenge where something works perfectly in a nice, clean, virtual simulation.
But falls apart in the messy real world.
Exactly. These real-time stressors, the unexpected dynamics of combat, they create a much more robust and reliable system in the end.
So are we going to see, like, robots competing in the Olympics soon, or is that maybe still a few weight classes away?
Maybe not the Olympics quite yet, but they're certainly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And beyond the combat stuff, Unitree also unveiled the R1 Intelligent Companion. This one's more affordable, aimed at consumers, priced around $5,600.
Okay.
Now, it currently lacks moving hands, which is a limitation, but it features a large multimodal AI model. It can interact through voice and image recognition, so it's clearly hinting at future roles as maybe a home assistant.
A stepping stone, perhaps?
Yeah, it highlights that strategic push towards making humanoids accessible for everyday use. Get people comfortable with them.
Right. And speaking of everyday use and companions, let's not forget ForEO Intelligence's Carebot, the GR3. This one felt different.
It did. It represents a whole new design philosophy, really centered on human-robot interaction HRI.
It's explicitly designed to care, not just to work. That was their phrase. It has warm tones, soft touch surfaces, even an animated facial interface. The goal seems to be fostering user comfort and trust, a big departure from purely industrial designs.
A huge departure. And what's truly groundbreaking, technologically speaking, is its dual-path AI architecture.
Right.
It has their proprietary full-perception multimodal interaction system, and it combines fast thinking for reflexive actions.
Like reacting to touch.
Exactly, like responding instantly to a gentle touch. And it combines that with slow thinking, which provides deep contextual understanding using large language models.
Okay, break that down. Fast and slow thinking.
Think of it like this. Fast thinking is your reflex. You touch something hot, you pull back instantly, no deep thought required. Slow thinking is more like your conscious brain processing a complex problem, using all your knowledge and context.
Ah, okay, got it.
So this dual approach aims to bridge that gap between simple perception, simple reaction, and something closer to genuine empathy or understanding. That makes it potentially uniquely suited for roles in healthcare, elder care, social companionship, places where that connection is really paramount.
So underneath all these incredible physical moves and these empathetic interactions, what's actually powering them? It feels like an AI revolution is happening alongside the hardware one.
Absolutely. Our research team consistently highlights vision language action models, VLAs, as the dominant architectural paradigm emerging pretty much across the industry right now.
VLAs.
Essentially, VLAs unify visual perception, natural language understanding, and physical action within a single cohesive framework. They see, they understand language, and they act all connected.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, a compelling one was the Galaxia AI R1 Lite robot. It demonstrated autonomous bed making.
Seriously, bed making.
Seriously, it processed the visual input, messy bed, messy room, and a simple verbal command like, please make the bed. And then it executed this complex multi-step chore.
Wow.
It perfectly illustrates how VLAs can translate these abstract human goals, like tidy the room, into concrete physical action. It's bridging that gap between our intention and the robot's execution in a way we just haven't really seen before at this level.
And the actual brain behind a lot of this, the core AI, it's getting a serious upgrade too, right? NVIDIA unveiled something called Cosmos Reason.
Yes, Cosmos Reason. It's a new foundational reasoning engine. It's a 7 billion parameter vision language model, or VLM, purpose-built to give embodied agents, robots, a more human-like understanding of the physical world. The idea is to enable them to plan really complex tasks.
7 billion parameters, that sounds significant.
It is. And our research team notes it's positioned as the core of a whole comprehensive development ecosystem NVIDIA is building.
So how does something like Cosmos Reason fit into the bigger AI picture for these robots? Is it like the top layer?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, our research team identifies this emerging three-layer AI architecture that seems to be becoming standard.
Okay, 3 layer.
At the top, layer one, you have reasoning. That's handled by high-level planning models like NVIDIA's Cosmos Reason. It figures out the what and why.
Got it.
Below that, layer two is translation. This is where VLA models come in. They convert perception and language into physical action commands. The how, basically. And finally, layer three is control. This focuses on low-level skill acquisition, actually executing the movement smoothly and efficiently. That's where techniques like reinforcement learning, which we talked about with the robot boxing, really shine.
Okay, reasoning, translation, control. Makes sense. And what's fascinating, our research team found, is that the success of this whole stack depends massively on data, right? Huge amounts of high-quality training data.
Absolutely critical. Simulation is crucial. You can generate lots of data there, but it's not enough on its own. That real-world data, like from the robot boxing matches or the bed-making demos, that helps close the critical sim-to-real gap.
And this creates that powerful data flywheel effect, doesn't it? Can you explain how that flywheel works and why it's so important?
Yeah, imagine it like a self-improving loop. The more these robots operate out in the real world, the more data they collect about how the world actually works, the messy parts included.
Okay.
That real-world data then feeds back into the simulation models, making the simulations more accurate, more realistic.
So the simulations get better because of reality.
Exactly. And better simulations lead to better trained AI models. Those improved models, in turn, enable the robots to perform even more complex tasks back out in the real world, which then generates even more, even better data.
And the wheel just keeps spinning faster.
Precisely. It's this continuous feedback loop.
Ah.
That's what's expected to drive really exponential progress and allow these machines to learn and adapt at an incredible pace.
If you're finding this insightful, just a quick reminder, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveil, and maybe turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the future.
And if you're listening on a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and review for Tomorrow Unveiled. It genuinely helps us reach new listeners interested in this stuff.
It really does. Okay, so moving from these, prototypes and AI models to actual commercial reality, maybe one of the most striking, almost surreal developments this week was the opening of the world's first dedicated robot mall in Beijing.
Yes, the robot mall. A radical departure from the usual way robots are sold, which is mostly business to business.
So this 4S model, they're talking about sales, service, spare parts, and surveys. It seems aimed at normalizing human-robot interaction. What does it signify beyond just, a new place to buy robots?
Well, it's designed as this immersive living showcase. You can go and buy everything from simple robotic gadgets, maybe costing a few $100s, up to these life-sized humanoids that cost close to $97,000.
Quite a range.
A huge range. But the real insight, I think, is how it normalizes robots. What's even more fascinating is that the mall actually features robots as active staff. Robot waiters,
Robot baristas.
robot sales assistants.
Robot sales assistants, exactly. It's a bold move to integrate robots directly into the consumer experience, trying to shift public perception from, sci-fi novelty to everyday utility, making them seem normal, approachable.
And if you thought robot boxing was exciting, well, get ready for the World Humanoid Robot Games. That's happening soon, right? Mid-August. That's right. These games will feature fully autonomous five-a-side football soccer with teams from around the world.
Fully autonomous robot football.
Fully autonomous. Our research highlights this serves, well, two purposes. It's a public spectacle, obviously exciting, but crucially, it's also a high-profile R&D platform. It pushes the limits of dynamic control, coordination, real-world performance under really competitive conditions.
Okay, so where are we seeing the applications actually taking shape? Beyond the mall and the football pitch?
Well, industrial and logistics, that remains the first major beachhead.
Yeah.
That's where humanoids are starting to perform those, dull, dirty, dangerous tasks in factories, warehouses.
Makes sense. Clear ROI there.
Exactly. The return on investment is often most immediate and tangible for businesses in those sectors.
And healthcare. You mentioned the Carebot.
Healthcare and elder care are definitely a huge focus. This is driven partly by aging populations in many parts of the world.
Yeah.
So we're seeing designs focusing on social companionship, patient monitoring, basic assistance, really tapping into that empathetic AI we discussed earlier.
And then the big dream, I suppose, is the home.
That's the long-term ambition for many, yes. Home and consumer services. We're seeing early demonstrations of domestic chores, like the bed-making robot. And in some areas, there are even government subsidies starting to appear to encourage adoption.
Interesting.
Of course, entertainment and public engagement, things like robo-sports, competitive events that's emerging as a whole new category too, really pushing the limits of physical capability in a different way.
Okay, so the progress is clearly rapid, maybe even accelerating, but it can't all be smooth sailing. What are the big hurdles? Our research team must have identified some major challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Several key hurdles stand in the way of, truly widespread adoption. First and foremost, cost and economic viability. These things are still expensive.
Very expensive.
Right. The prices need to come down significantly to achieve a clear return on investment that makes them accessible for most businesses, let alone average consumers.
That makes sense. What else?
Well, there's the sheer AI complexity and reliability. Ensuring these robots can handle unexpected events. Something falling over, a person walking unexpectedly in front of them.
The unpredictability of the real world.
Exactly. Making sure they can recover from errors gracefully, operate safely in these unpredictable scenarios. That's a massive undertaking. It's one thing to make a bed in a controlled lab environment, quite another to navigate a chaotic home or a busy factory floor. We're still grappling with that challenge.
Yeah, reliability is key.
Then there are hardware and energy limitations. These are still pressing concerns. Battery life, especially for mobile humanoids that need to operate all day.
How long can they operate now?
It varies hugely. But continuous, demanding, all-day operation is still a big challenge for many models. Plus, you have mechanical wear and tear, overall energy efficiency. These are significant engineering problems still being worked on.
And finally, maybe the biggest one in some ways, the social side.
Definitely a big one. Safety, ethics, and social acceptance. Addressing public anxiety, and it's definitely there around things like privacy, potential job displacement.
Yeah, the job question always comes up.
Always. And just building general trust. These are paramount for widespread integration. It's not just about what the robots can technically do, but what we as a society will allow them to do and feel comfortable with them doing. That conversation is really only just beginning in earnest.
So looking ahead then, what's the strategic outlook? Our research team must have some thoughts on where this is all heading.
They do. We seem to be heading into what many are calling platform wars. Expect intense competition among the providers of those foundational AI models, like Cosmos Reason, and the simulation environments used for training.
Like the early days of operating systems for computers.
Exactly like that. Whoever controls the core software, the core AI brain, and the development tools, they'll have a massive advantage in shaping the ecosystem.
And data, you mentioned data earlier. That sounds critical.
Absolutely critical. Our research confirms data will likely be the decisive asset in these platform wars. The ability to effectively collect, curate, and leverage these massive data sets, both simulated and real world, that's going to be the most important competitive differentiator.
So whoever masters that data flywheel we talked about.
They will likely lead the pack. It creates a compounding advantage.
Which raises big questions for policymakers, doesn't it?
It really does. Proactive development of clear, consistent, and importantly, innovation-friendly regulatory frameworks for testing and deployment is going to be essential. We need rules, but rules that don't stifle progress.
A tricky balance.
Very tricky. And alongside that, we need open public dialogue about all the societal concerns. This technology is moving incredibly quickly, and our regulatory systems, our social norms, they need to keep pace to ensure development happens responsibly.
So wrapping up this incredible week then, it feels like it's made it undeniably clear. Humanoid robots are rapidly moving from just, intriguing prototypes in labs.
To actual tangible products starting to appear.
Yeah. From sophisticated haptic touch to that empathetic AI, dynamic physical demos like boxing and football, the building blocks are falling into place, maybe faster than many people predicted.
The question really isn't if these machines will rise and integrate into our lives anymore. It feels much more like how we, as a society, are going to shape their arrival.
Right. What do we prioritize? Is it pure utility above all else? Or will empathy and social integration be the guiding principles for how they're designed and deployed?
A fundamental choice we'll have to make, probably through many small decisions over time.
So a final thought for you listening. What kind of future are you most excited about? Or perhaps what are you most apprehensive about as these machines continue their ascent? We genuinely love hearing your thoughts. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app, please leave a comment and let us know what you think about this rise of the machines and the future of robotics.
Yeah, we're really curious to hear different perspectives.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you found this valuable, hit like, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, maybe leave us that review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It all helps. Join us next time on Tomorrow Unveiled as we continue to explore the cutting edge of innovation.